So, very few of you might actually know this because I've basically spent the entire time on, this channel doing the pours fast and being bad at them sometimes, but being good-ish, at most of them when it comes to designs and whatnot. But once upon a time, I was really actually incredibly good at them. Like, I really got into this thing for, I don't know, a few months where I genuinely loved the idea and the process and everything about creating a beautiful design in soap. And I'll show you one up here somewhere, maybe here, of, me doing that back in the day. And then I stopped because, it got to be really difficult to justify the amount of time that goes into a beautiful batch of soap with how much production I actually needed to get done. So I started simplifying my designs, and as a result, got kind of bad at doing the really complicated pours. And this week is a kind of complicated pour in that it's a lotus, and lotus can be a challenge, you know. And I actually took my time on this one, and I'm pretty excited to show you. So I'm going to do that in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudzers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you were here for Project Soapway Week, and this challenge was a Lotus Swirl, and the reason why is because I was seeing some beautiful Lotus Swirls on, line or whatever, and I realized that I haven't done one like all year, and so I gave this challenge to the Sudzers so they could do, again, a difficult pour in that it's really important to find the right colors, and it's very important for the right consistency of the soap batter, but also the tools that you might be using with which to swirl. And so that was the challenge, and today is my soap, but you're actually getting to see two soaps. One is going to be for my brand, for Soap and Clay, and the colors that represent that brand, and the other is going to be for the podcast brand. And so the colors that represent Soapbox Society. I thought that it would be cool because I've never actually done a brand colored, soap and made one for like my signature soap for Soap and Clay or for the podcast. And so that's what we are doing today. And I'm going to use two different thicknesses of skewers to see what that does to a batch of soap, to maybe help you out in your journey. And I'm also going to do it the right way with dividers and stuff. So let's get to the video where you can see all of those things in action and me being good at them all. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for... Okay, so first up, we need to talk about this. This Vanilla Ember scent from Cierra Candles. So Dana sent me some samples, I don't know, like 3 months ago at this point, and I finally just got around to using them and even smelling them. And oh my God, this Vanilla Embers, it is the most delicious vanilla scent that I have ever smelled in my life, and there is no discoloration. According to the website, there's no vanillin content, there's no anything. I haven't soaped with it. I have no idea. It's kind of a crapshoot to be using it within, this pour because it's for a challenge or whatever. But you know me, I really like doing bad things and making terrible decisions for challenges, so I'm doing it. But again, it is a beautiful vanilla scent with no discoloration. So if you are tired of having to figure out, designs around browns and blacks so you can get a vanilla in your line, You need to check this out. I'm not even kidding. So for the rest of the colors, we are doing Soap and Clay's brand colors. And so we have a burgundy-ish color. We have a, mint green-ish color. I use mint julep for that. I did a very big blend for the burgundy because I had to kind of go off my hex code because it's a very interesting, not exactly maroon, not exactly burgundy, not exactly purple. It's a very interesting color. And then also the black and the white, because really those are my two primary colors in the brand is black and white. It's my logo, it's all the things, but the maroon and the green, those are, my official colors. But anyway, so that's what we're doing. We're doing a 4-color Lotus Swirl for my brand because I've never actually done that. I have never, not one time ever, put my brand colors into a soap, which I find really weird. And so I'm decided to do that for this soap because a lotus is beautiful, but also for the Soapbox Society as well. So I'm using those brand colors too. Now for this, since it's black and white is my primary, I thought I would put black and white in the middle of the mold and then the actual colors of the branding on the sides, and then they can all swirl together really beautifully. I don't know. We'll see how it works. But the scent has been put in. There's no acceleration. It actually did actually loosen up the batch quite a bit. So I like that. Maybe loosened up a little bit too much because I think it's a little bit too thin. You can see that the white is sort of fading into the green and vice versa, and the burgundy into the black. But ultimately it does all come out, in the wash, and it should be fine. So I'm not terribly worried about it, but it is a little bit thin. So ultimately what I ended up doing for this is I let it sit for an extra, 5 minutes or so after I had, poured everything in before pulling my dividers. Now, when we did last week, the weird, sponge thing soap, this is what I use for my sponges to, saturate my sponges. When I have to do pours like this that end up with extra soap batter, no matter what I do, instead of trying to scrape all those off back into the mold, I just use my little sponge thing for them now and saturate the sponge with the extra soap batter. Now, for the skewers, I thought it would be interesting to try 2 different thicknesses of skewers. Now, I normally do like a bamboo skewer for, kebabs for my swirls. And I decided to do a slightly thicker skewer, so this one right here, for the Soap and Clay Lotus to see what it does, and then use the even thicker skewer, so a Sharpie. I'm using a Sharpie for the Soapbox Society pour, because I see people using all manner of, thicknesses for their actual skewers. And since I've only ever really used the one kind, again, just like a little teeny tiny bamboo skewer, I wanted to see if there was any difference between this Lotus and every other Lotus that I've ever made. So let's check out the next pour. And onto the Soapbox Society colors and this scent as well. Okay, so out of the new scents from Cierra Candles, the Mandarin Palo Santo, the Palo Santo and White Grapefruit, and the Vanilla Embers are everything good in this world. They smell so freaking good. Palo Santo plus Mandarin plus a citrus, it's delightful. It's so delicious. So if you have not checked out the new scents over there, I highly recommend those 3. And again, for the vanilla, you're going to see whether or not discolors because we're showing the cut and everything, but just spoiler alert, none of them discolor. It's amazing. It's magic. I love everything about it. So for the Soapbox Society colors, we are using our, copper, because we have the copper fireplace that we film in front of, and really the rest of the colors were born off of that because we have our office that we love so hard with the dark navy walls and ceiling and everything, and then that big bright copper fireplace, and everything else is copper within the room. And so essentially orange and black got put into that because those are really easy colors to put with navy and copper. And so that's what we are doing for these colors. I used Satin Penny for the copper in this particular one, and the orange is a blend of Brazen Hussy plus Pumpkinhead, and the black is just, it's black, it's activated charcoal. So there's that, and the white is obviously just white. Now, kaolin clay does go into every batch of soap that I make. I have been putting all of my clays into the oils themselves before I put the lye solution in. Oh, it's just the mood that I'm in right now, and I haven't gone back. So that's what I have been doing. So everything does have the kaolin clay within it, copious amounts of it, and all of the colors. This batch was separated into 4 equal parts. So I did weigh out every single container there, so I knew that, you know, I had the exact same amount of soap batter. So that's important. Now with this one, I don't know, I did orange and blue in the middle because I like the Broncos. That's it. And this year apparently we have to start liking sports ball again because Taylor Swift likes sports ball, and so now, yay, sports ball. But the Broncos they're not great this year, but you know, there's my home team. And so the copper and the white just kind of went on the ends. Now, one of the most important things with the Lotus is going to be getting a really good color pattern, and so a color palette. And we've talked about color palettes and how I sort of source them and everything before, because I don't really have that artistic eye, just kind of naturally. And so I usually do need a lot of assistance with that. And so for me, I used to do Design Seeds, but she shut her website down quite a long time ago. And so recently I have been using Canva, because you can just go onto Canva and just search color palettes on your Canva app, and it'll give you a whole bunch of color palettes with all these beautiful, you know, colors already put together. And so that's been my source of inspiration for colors for the past year or two. And also it's been the source of inspiration for all kinds of things, you know, because you can also make all of your scraping tools and stuff on Canva, print them out, and then you can cut them. It's delightful. Really is. It's such a useful tool. So for this, I didn't need to do this, but since it is a brand color, that is now saved in my design palette on Canva. But if you're looking for good ideas and you really want to use like a red or whatever, you can just go to Canva and select and search, you know, red color palette, and it'll give you all kinds of cool ideas for other colors to put with it if you're wanting to go, you know, super wild with your Lotus. But for this, again, I just did 4 colors. I'm pretty sure that I told the sudsers that it was at least a 3 color, or maybe I said 4 color, but I'm pretty sure they all did 5. So I don't know, maybe I said 5 and I just messed it up, but you know, I did 4 colors and you get 2 bars, so you know, there's that. Now I'm going to use, as you can see, the Sharpie to do this swirl. And for a Lotus Swirl, again, it's just going to be up one side of the mold, just go over a little bit, and then down, and then up. You're just, you know, kind of making an S, but a really tight S in all of it. And then what separates this from like a Taiwan is going to be the number of times that you go around the side of the mold here, you know, because it continues to pull it into a curved pattern. So you get, when you put the 2 bars together, after you cut them different, because they do need to be cut different, not top down, you get a beautiful, you know, looks like a flower, like a lotus flower. This is already suggesting that it's not going to, though. So let's check out these cuts and see what we have. Okay, now onto the cut of both of these. These have set up overnight, about 18 hours between pour and release. This one did get a little bit overheated, so I've got a little bit of bumping on the top. That both were C-popped and gelled. As you can see, beautiful swirls already. Love everything about this. Very excited to cut into these. Oh God, that is so pretty. Wait until you see it when I take it out of the mold. It has like this beautiful frame around it. So gorgeous. 10 out of 10. But it's interesting what the top did there. So the reason why I use these little 1 pound, you know, things from Brambleberry is because I wanted to play with the cuts on this. So when we did our Project Soapway last week, and Kimberly, Diamond Sky, had those bars that I just loved the hand feel of them. Like they were thicker than a 1-inch bar, but they were thinner than on the other. It was a perfect size for my hand. See, isn't that gorgeous? Oh my God, it's beautiful. And so I wanted to see if I could take essentially these molds from Brambleberry are 4 inches long by like 3.5 wide, to see if I could still cut it into 4 bars of soap, but do it in an interesting way. So maybe the soap itself was narrower but thicker. And I thought, what a great time to actually try that out and try cutting it a different way, considering for a Lotus, I have to cut it different anyway. Now that is also beautiful. I love that so hard. So excited to cut into these. And so ultimately what I ended up doing was cutting them down the middle lengthwise in order to, so the 4-inch, so they each went into 2-inch chunks. And then of those 2-inch chunks, we're then going to split them, the top from the bottom. So turn them over and cut them horizontally. But this pattern right here, that's also a really pretty, batch of soap right there. That's interesting. I'm very interested to see what this does in a larger batch size, because seeing the cut for this particular one for the Soap and Clay brand, it was already stunning, like all of it. That was so beautiful. That on its own. So that's what you would get if you were just cutting it normally, right? Just a top down standard cut with your loaf cutter. But I am going to, again, cut the top from the bottom, cut them horizontally now, and actually reveal the lotus pattern. And within this, I got 2 completely different versions of a lotus, and I'm interested to see how many different versions I can get within a longer batch of soap. So this one is the first. So we have green as the primary color, as on the outside, and then the white, the black, and the maroon as the accent to actually create the beautiful, swirls of the lotus. And as you can already see, beautiful wisps that are going through the green there. And it actually has the pull that you're really going for, with the thin lines going to the outside of edges of the soap. Absolutely stunning. And then, yeah, you put it together. That's beautiful. 10 out of 10. Go me. It's okay to say that you're good at things when you're good at things. Don't get weird about it. Now, for this one, the opposite ended up being the case, and I was a little bit confused at first. I'm like, how do I put this together? And interestingly, I actually got messages from one of the sudsers during this challenge, and she was asking me, how do I cut them and how do I put them together so it makes a lotus? Because it can be kind of confusing. I just had to turn mine around because it was upside down, But look at that. So you have the burgundy, that's the outside primary color, and then the black, white, and green doing its thing in the middle. 2 completely different versions of the lotus, and both of them are really stunning. Now for this one, interestingly, when I cut it in half, lengthwise, so 2 2-inch chunks, it's kind of fun. That looks kind of like a nose there in the middle, but then those pieces with the black and the copper, they kind of look like teeth, like the roots of a tooth. It was very interesting, but I thought that was kind of a cool cut too. Made me wonder what it would look like in the, a whole total bar, all of the bars looking like that. That's fun. It's a moment, but I'm going for lotus. So let's see what happened with this. And ultimately, I don't think I got a lotus. I honestly, with it, the second that I put one of these pairs together, I immediately thought of Nacho Libre, the movie. And so I don't think I got a lotus. It is pretty though. And so I'm going to go ahead and assume, because again, it was the exact same soap recipe. So same soap batter, same consistency with which I poured it and with which I swirled it. I think the Sharpie, what we have learned is the Sharpie, it is too thick for swirls if you're wanting to go for a lotus. See? Don't you get that? I just thought of Nacho Libre and all the really cool masks that they wear for... Yeah. See? I'm telling you, it's very cute. It's not a lotus, but it's adorable. But I'm thinking, yeah, Sharpie, no, but the mid-size skewer, 100%. That totally worked. That's what I'm using from now on for my lotus. It's amazing. Go me. See, I can do hard things. But yeah, no, it takes a lot longer to make, 4 little bars of soap when you're doing it right and a really beautiful design in mind than the majority of my line. So it was fun for the moment, but would I actually do a whole bunch of these and make this part of my line? Maybe, actually, for the Soap and Clay one, because that one was gorgeous, and I'm very interested to see how many more different blends of colors and the pattern I get throughout, a 24 bar batch as opposed to just a 4 bar. Yeah, I had fun with the cuts because when we were showing you, this one last week for the last Project Soapway, I loved the size of the bars, and so I had a good time really playing with the cut size to see if I can find something that I'm in love with that has such a good hand feel like this one. So yeah, there was a lot of fun for me. I hope you guys enjoy this week. You are absolutely going to enjoy this week. There's so much awesome talent that I can't wait to show you in the next few videos. But you know, this one's mine, and you got to see my awesome talent because I can be good at stuff too. Sudsers, thank you for existing. Thank you for being you. Good luck on all of your adventures today. I hope today has been a success all around, and that we have good news and no bad news for all of the different things that are going on. I love you. You're amazing. For the rest of you, hello. Hi, I'm here. You are too. You could subscribe and you could be a Sudser. No pressure, but you know, it's just a button. Just saying. I will see you guys all again tomorrow for another round of Project Soapway. Soapy fun. Bye. Is that what we're called? I don't actually know if we're called Soapbox Society. Regardless...